remarkable people overcoming remarkable challenges with resilience, dedication, community, and grit. Listen as they share their stories of overcoming adversity. Open your eyes to what is genuinely possible for all of us. Authentic Adversity with host Chris Howe.
Welcome back to another episode of the Authentic Adversity podcast. If you like the content, please like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Today, I get to sit down with a guest who was kind of linked up with me by some mutual friends. He's got an amazing story, a story of defying all odds through whatever struggle came his way. Today, he's a canine trainer and behaviorist. He's a youth life coach and a podcast host. So I want to welcome Didontae, otherwise known as Swift.
What's going on? How you doing?
Man, it's good to see you.
I think it's
good
morning still.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. We got a couple mutual friends that, those guys have nothing but amazing things to say about you. And, I've watched some of your other podcasts and you've got an amazing story. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Mohawk Matthew and Brian James, Street Bliss.
Right. You say it so eloquently.
You gotta put it on like that. That's their professional names, as
That's
we
right.
say.
That's right. Yeah, man. I mean, they have fantastic things to say about you, and I love what you and Brian are doing with the podcast. I'm super excited to see that, and we can talk a little bit about that in this podcast too. But to kind of kick it off, why don't you tell us, where you're from, what things were like growing up, and we'll get into it.
Let's see. Well, where does this story start? Once upon a time in a nice village outside of the Shire. I wish. I was born in Inglewood, California. I was born at Centinela Hospital. Didn't stay there at all. Ended up moving to Compton. Let's see, let's start with my mother. My mother's from Mississippi. Majority of my family's from the South, like rural South,
Okay.
dirt roads, like houses on bricks and stuff like that, like sitting up like
Yeah.
that. Kill animals and put the skins on the fence to dry them out type stuff, like a real country. Like,
Right.
yeah. Then got my dad's side of the family, my biological father. They're from Mississippi. Mississippi, Louisiana, some parts of Chicago. And they own a lot of land out there in Mississippi. Little known fact, my great uncle invented the gas mask. So,
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gary Morgan invented the gas mask, and he didn't want us to be in slavery, so he bought a whole bunch of land, about over 100 acres. And to this day, we got about like 80 acres still out there. But my story starts in Long Beach, Compton, Watts, that area.
Okay.
When my family came out here, that was the area that they were positioned in and put in. Which a lot of people, you go to like Watts and hear like a crazy like Southern slang. You're like, man, that shit is not real, but
yeah,
it is, because the majority of the family comes from either the South, they come from Jamaica, Belize, all these small places, and they end up in these what formerly or used to be known as the train depots. All the trains used to go through Watts and all that type of stuff. So those are labor yards.
Okay. Yeah.
And then started off in Compton and Long Beach. Then my mother met my stepfather, and we ended up going to Palm Springs for a while. And that's where I got my work ethic.
Okay.
Just go. Because my steppops, he's ex-military. He's from the South, and it was nice in Palm Springs for a minute. It was hot as hell, but it was nice. It was real cool. Like the man had about like 4 houses. My mom's always been like a nurse. Then I have my older sister. My older sister, she has a disability, so she's not able to function at a level that the average person does.
Okay. Yeah.
But she still can. It's noticeable, but it's not noticeable. When she was younger, it was worse. But as she grew older and matured, it kind of leveled out. But there's still certain things. But Palm Springs was cool to a certain point where I started to notice that, like, damn, I'm the only black kid in class. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
Or like, when it came time for us to do like relay races, they'd be like, yeah, call Dante up to the front because he can run faster than anybody.
Really? Yeah.
I'm like, all right. And then I had a cool ass neighbor that I remember. So you remember the Olympics where all the brothers was up there with the fist up?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my principal.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Wow.
he lived around the corner, and I used to go. I never knew who this dude was, and I'm like, and I grew up, and I was like, man, that was my principal in school. Like, what the hell? I used to
Yeah.
be at his house. Like, he had a cool ass house. I was afraid of his dogs. The dog got
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I used to be afraid of dogs.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And what got me to not be afraid of dogs was my stepdad and the dog that we had. So we had a black pit. His
Okay.
name was Buddy. His name was Buddy. I used to always chase him around. I used to terrorize his dog. Let's put it like this. Because
Yeah.
the dog wouldn't listen to me, and it would listen to my stepdad because that was his dog. And the only time he
Right.
would come
Right.
around me is unless I had like some food or something. So, real quick, I go in the backyard one day and I'm like, man, I want to ride a horse. I got a thing for horses. I'm like, I want to ride a horse. So I'm looking around and I'm like, Buddy. So I go creeping around a corner and I see him right there and I'm like, yeah, come here. He's eating. So I'm like, cool. I can catch him while he's eating. Wrong
Yeah.
move. So I creep.
It is with the
Like,
pit bulls.
and then
Yeah. Yeah.
I jump on his back and I grab his ears to go like that, like to try to
Oh,
ride him
shit.
like a horse. And he reached back and grabs me by the face,
Mm.
but he doesn't clamp. He
Oh,
treats me
wow.
like how he do. Yeah, he treats me like how he would do a puppy. So
Okay.
he grabbed me
Yeah.
in my face and just moved me. And I was
No
like,
way.
yeah, whole mouth right here, just whole, like I was in that thing. And
Jeez. Yeah.
he let me go and I ran off. He tried to kill me. I run in the house. Dad, the dog bit me. You're going to kill him. He did something to me. My dad said, he's like, boy, what did you do? I'm like, I tried to ride him like a horse. Does he look like a goddamn horse to you? I'm like, no. And he was like, all right, don't do that shit again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, you're not gonna do anything? He was like, later on, I would realize, like, the dog spared you. He treated you
He
like he
did.
treated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he treated like he would treat a puppy. He looked at you like you were a kid, and he let
Right.
you go. And my pops realized that, and he was like, yeah, I'm not finna, do anything to the dog. Let that be a lesson to you.
For sure. For
So
sure.
he was one of those type
Yeah.
of dudes. Like he was like, you look at his hands all calloused up and shit. Is one of those like, do this, do that, like, get out there and turn the dirt. Like we don't go buy groceries. We plant all our food and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
Country as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. But a hard man, right? Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
like, I think, young men need that to a point in their life. You know what I mean? Just to,
yeah,
like you said, instill work ethic and, somebody that they can go to, a real, like a masculine role model
right,
that can tell them, because we need from mom and from dad, right? And we need
right,
that masculine and feminine. So I had a grandfather that was just like that, and he was very, very, like, very instrumental in my upbringing. And it was like that with him too. It's like, it wasn't, there was no sympathy, there was no like,
right,
treat you like a baby. It's like harden up,
right.
be a man. And like, we look at that now and we're like, hey, some of that's kind of bullshit, because we end up, keeping our shit to ourselves too much that way. But
Right.
he taught me a lot, work ethic wise, and like the, coming up, I was always trying to impress him, right?
Right.
And having those strong male role models are really, really important for kids.
My mom was cool as hell. She a little short, like 5'2.5". I put the 2.5 because she specifically will correct me about her half an inch that she
And a
had.
half. Yeah.
Um, from Mississippi, she prime example of children having children. She had her first kid,
Mm-hmm.
14, out there in Mississippi. And unfortunately, I lost my older brother, who would have been my older brother. There's lack of medical care out there. He
Oh,
didn't get
really?
lifted to a proper hospital, so he passed away as a baby, about like 2 or 3 weeks
Gosh.
after he was born. Real quiet lady, real quiet, real short. She's been a nurse her entire life, like just in the hospitals, taking care of people, working with people. Cool soul, but it's heartbreak came into her life, and that's what like messed things up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Messing with my father, my biological father, he broke her heart. And that's one of the main reasons why I was treated the way that I was treated growing up. But she she did a lot with what she had. And I give her major, major kudos because, my step-pops was a serial, what do you say, adulterer? Is that the proper word?
Okay. Yeah.
Pops was, he was a player when he came to the women. He was like, all right, I'm going to take my son. He's my sidekick. We can go to these chicks' house and, I was fixing some walls. I'll give you some pizza. All right, give me some pizza. Shit, that's all it takes. And we would go places. And then one day she just, she got tired.
Mm-hmm.
And, she snatched up me and my sister. She put some clothes in her car. And we drove back down here to LA. And so we moved in with my auntie. It was cool. And like my auntie, she passed away about a year and a half, 2 years ago. We lived there for a while, and mom got her jobs down there. She started working for the hospitals and stuff. We lived in a bedroom, me, my mom, and my sister. And you could tell that it affected her because it's like you come from a 4-bedroom house, backyard.
Yeah.
As a kid, I don't understand them. I'm like, man, why don't we go back home? Send me to my dad. I don't want to be here. All the shit that comes with that. This is some shit.
Yeah, that's tough for sure.
Right. Then I had to adjust to the new schools. My education level was horrible. Well, being that I was the only black kid in school, I'm there in Palm Springs. Aguas Calientes and all. That's the name of the school.
Okay.
They just passed me through, bro. I went from 1st to the 3rd grade. I didn't know how to read shit. I didn't know how to do math. I didn't know how to write. It was like I knew certain things, but like it was most of the time the teachers would do the work for me. You know what I'm saying? Or
but why? Like what?
I guess they expected me to be dumb.
That's awful, man. That's awful.
You know what I'm saying? They just passed me through. They passed them along. So by the time I got to Long Beach, I had to be put in like speech classes. I had to be put in like reading classes. I didn't know what a vowel was. A-E-I-O-U. I didn't know any of the stuff. What else? Math. Oh my God. Multiplication. I couldn't do none of that. Like I was cursive. I didn't know how to write in cursive. None of that type of shit. So I just
you moved to this like from this pretty much all white school where you're just like passed through the grades to different school, and now you're realizing that you're
out there. It's like, okay, well, maybe his family has money, so he gets to live the lax life, so we could just push him through. To where it's down in Compton, Watson, Long Beach.
Yeah,
you have to get your grades right because this is your only way out, and it's
right.
It is instilled as a kid to get proper education to compete with everybody. But everybody else is trying to get ahead.
Yeah.
So that was that viewing of it. So I had to get into it. I didn't really learn it. My mom had moved into a new apartment. So, we're in school, and my first actual interaction with a person outside of my stepfather, because I hadn't met my pops yet, was a boyfriend. So it's weird what men will do to be taken care of.
Okay.
So you have guys, I look at them as predators now, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
They have a thing out here in California where it's called AOB, all on the bitch, all on the bitch. That's their thing.
Yeah.
Whatever I want, a chick is going to take care of. But you have these dudes that sit down and they watch and they prey on single mothers. Like, you don't have a job, you get a county assistant, so you sit there and you watch the local mother work her ass off, work hard to try to take care of her kids.
Yeah.
And then you slide in and infiltrate. And then you become the next Bill, you become the next kid. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and do this, and let me go ahead and do that. And you're sitting in the house, mom's taking care of you, she's cooking dinner and shoes and all that type of stuff. You're just another kid. You know what I'm saying? You're an extra bill,
Right.
And time went on. I can get deep into that, but we all the other podcasts, they got to hear that story. They got to hear that, but nobody gets the here and now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They see the life in prison and the get out. You know what I'm saying? But they don't get to see what's going on after a person gets out of prison, the struggles that go on with that type of shit. Because it's heavy out here, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I have never, ever in my entire life been more disrespected than within the last 2 years that I've been out of prison.
By people outside. Yeah.
By people outside and
Yeah.
business owners and business owners.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I think too, when you get out, you expect a level of respect, and people don't move that way out in the sort of real world, right? Like they don't treat people right. It's so seems like they got blinders on. They're so like self-involved, and there's no kind of compassion for anybody else, no respect for anybody else. It's all about me. And it's like simple thing, like hold the door for somebody, have a nice day, thank you, please. Like these things that people don't say that stuff or do that stuff anymore. It's awful.
Man, and the intent behind what a lot of people does is not natural. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's very selfish, and it's very built on business.
Mm-hmm.
And what the world has done is they forgot the value of a soul.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's selling their soul. Everybody, I'm gonna sell my soul for this, that, and the other. I'm gonna go do this, that. It takes away from who we are as human beings, as people. Well, I'll put it short like this. So throughout my journey of going through, my mom leaving stepdad, living with my auntie, watching my grandmother go through her ailments, having both of her legs amputated and having cataracts, and living with my mom and being carried up and downstairs literally every single day.
Yeah.
To my grandmother, who's right here on the wall, passing away from cancer. To my stepfather dying in a car accident, drunk driving, because he drunk drive every day. Every day.
Yeah.
He had a cooler in the back of his flatbed, and he had black velvet Canadian whiskey. That was his go-to drink, and he had a Coke. And that's how I started drinking. I took my first drink at 8.
Yeah.
And it was with my stepdad. Man, let me drink that now. This grown person juice. Give me that. It's like, all right, here, drunk it, passed out. All right, cool. So, and that's how I started to going through that, and then to finally meeting my biological father. And that small portion, that small period of time was, I guess it was a time of him saying goodbye, because he came into my life and then he was taken out. It's a cold case murder.
Yeah.
So, it was just trials and tribulations. My mom tried her best with me, but it was all that stuff happened within like a 4 years period. Okay. All those deaths, and it sent me into, and I was 11.
Yeah, that's a lot for a child to carry on his shoulders.
I would go through, I ended up in the Department of Children and Family Services. Things happen with my mom. Shit happens. They took me away from her. Took me away from her at 11, and I went to DCFS, and I hated that shit. Hated it. And I wasn't even like the treatment of kids, and knowing that kids are just basically used as money cycle. I feel like that the Department of Children and Family Services is a part of that 13th Amendment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Modern day slavery. Except kids didn't do anything. The kids are innocent.
Yeah.
You taking them everywhere, and I was a $4,000 a month kid. So somebody's making $4,000 on me every month, and I didn't see shit.
That's insane. Yeah, and you're not getting cared for $4,000 worth of care a month, right?
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. Like, hand-me-down clothes, living on bunk beds. They're locking at night. At 6 o'clock, they lock the refrigerator at night. They put padlocks on the refrigerator. They put padlocks on the freezer. Like, imagine your son getting up in the middle of the night and he goes to the kitchen and he's like, he just stumbles in there. Oh, opens. She's like, what the fuck?
She's locked, yeah.
And who locked the freezer? And you come out there like, yeah, 6 o'clock every night, the freezer will be locked. Now go back to bed.
Insane. Yeah.
No, it's just not cool. It's
Because
not
that's
cool at
money
all.
out of their pocket, they think, right? Like,
It's money. It's
yeah,
financing. So, at what point in the system does a young man or a young girl feel the need to be around people that have done nothing but take advantage of them?
no,
At
yeah,
what point does a young person feel the need or the want to, to stay around people who just use and abuse them? Because that wasn't the only thing. One of the main reasons I fought every kid when I started going into group homes is because of the molestations that were going on inside those places. You know,
yeah,
kids getting raped, getting molested by the staff, or you know, kids touching other kids. I wasn't gonna let that happen to me, so I started to
hmm
acquire weapons. I would have knives and nunchucks underneath my bed and shit.
yeah,
I made the point, and I was smaller than everybody.
yeah,
I was like, all right, so we're gonna fight. We're gonna
right.
keep on fighting, and fuck it. They kick me out, oh well. Uh,
Yeah,
and, and
you get to them before they get to you, though, right? Like,
yeah, dog eat
yeah,
dog.
yeah, yeah,
And it's just the way that it looks and the way that it feels. Like you get pulled up in this big ass white van. Everybody knows that's the group home van. Like, oh, those are the kids from the group homes. And
right.
you get clowned a lot by that shit at school. Like, oh, your people don't want you. Or you over here doing this. So
Oh, yeah,
you try your best to just. And then I started running away. That was my thing. I just said, fuck it. I'm gonna start running away. Like, who cares?
yeah,
I rather live
yeah.
on the streets. I rather live on the streets than be somebody's paycheck.
hmm
This episode of the Authentic Adversity podcast is brought to you and sponsored by Another Road Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center. Another Road offers a client-centered recovery program tailored to every individual's circumstances. Their focus is to create a supportive, healing environment rather than a rigid, rule-based institution. Their dedicated commitment upholds the individual values respecting each person's desire for recovery. Another Road understands that every individual requires a unique and focused approach to their recovery. Certain modalities of treatment are introduced along with the tools necessary for each client. Located in a rural setting, their addiction treatment center for all genders provides the perfect setting for a transformative recovery experience and sense of belonging. The private residential treatment facility offers an unparalleled program with counselors that have in-depth knowledge based on varying years of experience in addiction. Another Road utilizes unique, individual-focused plans for recovery that address the complexities of drug addiction, alcoholism, and prescription medication misuse. They have a 65% success rate when clients follow their program. I know many people who have completed this program, and they have absolutely rave reviews. To learn more, visit anotherroad.ca.
I just hit the streets. I ran wild for not a long time. I have a very, very, very low IQ when it comes to running from the law.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, there's no feeling like knowing that somebody's hunting you.
hmm
And
hmm
when people they put out a warrant for you or not, they're coming to hunt you. They're looking for you. Somebody's looking for you,
Yeah.
and it's constant. Like you have to. I found myself sleep on people's back porches. I slept on roofs before. I slept in cars. I slept in people's garages. I didn't have nowhere to use the restroom, so I was using old beer bottles to fucking piss in. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Mm.
shit. It gets nasty. You had to go through a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. You find yourself using the bathroom outside because who the fuck is up at 2 o'clock in the morning and let some little kid inside to use the restroom?
Right.
So you got to make do with what you have. Like that's
Yeah.
So when I see homeless people, I don't ever like judge them because I'm like
hmm
I know what the fuck it's been like.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
little bit of time that I was homeless, I know what that shit feels like. I know what it's like to be just walking the street aimlessly at night, just aimlessly walking, just
And thinking you're about to be scooped up at any time, right? People are looking
right.
for you, so you're like hyper vigilant the whole time you're out there.
Right.
Yeah.
It was continuous. School's messed up. I stopped caring about school. At one point, I ended up learning all the stuff that I needed to learn, and I ended up being on the honor roll. I ended up being like one of the sharpest kids in school, but school wasn't appealing to me. Like school was uncomfortable because my life was uncomfortable. I had been over with 6 or 7 different foster homes, and I couldn't sit down and actually just decompress. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like you're a firefighter, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just imagine just throughout your day doing like 16 calls of intensive fire. And when you get back home to the place that you're supposed to call home, it fucking catches fire.
Right. Right.
That's what it was like. Like, it's like, damn, this is never ending. Like, fuck, just just keep on going, keep on going, and keep on going. And you keeping all this type of stuff in because once again, you were taught, internalize. You know, men, we internalize. We don't. You're not supposed to show that. You're supposed to have that bravado on. You don't show no weakness or anything like that. That's not what we do. Oh, you scraped your knee, wrote some dirt on it because that's what we do. You know,
Sure. Yeah.
It causes an implosion. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I exploded on the inside. You know what I'm saying? I end up just lashing out. I ended up going to about 2 or 3 different mental hospitals. I was, diagnosed with severe depression. They put me on antipsychotics, and I was young. I was under 14, taking, Zoloft and Risperdal and all these medications and shit. And that shit, it it does something to you. It is, and it ain't healthy. It's not healthy.
No, for sure.
I would find myself in juvenile hall when I would later get locked up. The nurse would come and give me my meds. And this man would have full-blown conversations with me. And the next day, I'll go to sleep because it would knock me out. And then the next day he would come back and talk to me about the conversations that we had the day before, but I would not remember anything that he was talking about. Wouldn't remember it.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't remember this conversation? I'm like, bro, I don't know. What the fuck you talking about? What are you talking about?
Wow.
So then years later, I would watch a PBS special. And it was some doctors got together and they did like this research thing. I think it was in Canada, matter of fact. It was in Canada.
Right? Yeah.
And it was a guy out in Canada who had committed a crime where he had killed one of his own kids.
Okay.
And they went and they were like, what was going on? So, make a long story short, it was something that caused a chemical imbalance within this person with the meds that they were taking from these antipsychotics. And it caused them to go into a sleep state, but still be lucid and be walking around and doing everything in a natural function while they were asleep, but it was brought on by the medications that they were taking. So it's like, it was, and they just showed case after case after case after case, and I'm like, damn, like that could have been me. So like on my 18th birthday, I just told them because I had I'm legally an adult to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take that. I don't want to take that shit anymore. So from my 18th birthday to now, I haven't taken any type of antipsychotics or over-the-counter medications that have to deal with mental health. Why? Because it is more altering to me than me altering to myself.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't need an addition to the shit. No, like I'll find other ways.
And they're giving these things to young people too, where their brains haven't developed to a point, right? And a lot of these people, I'm sure that you would agree, it's not because they're mentally unstable. It's because they're desperate for love and attention that they're not getting somewhere else, right? That's why we're acting out. And you spoke about that imploding from the inside and lashing out because there's no other way to, that's the only form of expression that I think sometimes we have as young people is lashing out, fighting, screaming, yelling, starting shit, because we don't know how to deal with the internal state.
Right. You only do what you're taught or what you see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like once again, all the stuff that I'm learning later on, that I'm able to look back and identify, this came through experience and seeing shit, and then just all the stuff that I was finally able to sit down for. So the entire time of me going from group home to foster home to graduating to juvenile hall and all that type of stuff, I still hadn't had enough time to rest. I didn't have enough time. I didn't really rest until 2008.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, from 2001 all the way until 2002 was just moving, moving around, going through this, getting involved with gangs, going to group homes, going to court, going to 3 different courts in one day, DCFS court, going to criminal court, going to juvenile court, dealing with the gang life, dealing with why and all that type of stuff. And then finally on my 18th birthday, they picked me up, the sheriff picked me up and took me to Chino. You know what I'm saying? Like that goes to show how much a kid has to be moved around. It's too much,
Yeah.
Shit, even at one point I tried to end it all. I tried to at 16 in juvenile hall, 16 in Barry J. Niner in juvenile hall, and was at cell 120 something. Same juvenile hall that I'm going back into now. To teach kids, to be a life coach. I hung myself.
Wow.
Life was too much, and I didn't care for life. I didn't care for life. They have all these kids going to court, and they say, the kid doesn't have any care. They don't care for life. They don't care. I remember one of my OGs from Pelican Bay. This is the guy from Pelican Bay. He said, y'all youngsters that come in here nowadays, y'all like alligator babies.
Mm-hmm.
You're not warm blooded. You're cold blooded. Y'all don't have no soul. Like y'all. That shit hurt my feelings hearing that. He's like, yeah, y'all. And I'm like, damn, we trying to be like you. He's like, no, we wasn't like that. We wanted clothes. We wanted clothes and cars and girls. All the other shit came later. But y'all, all y'all want to do is be violent. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't want girls. Y'all want a gun.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, that goes to show like what it is when you can't find love or an outlet or a resource to be productive. That old saying of idle hands are the devil's workplace or the workshop. It's true.
Yeah.
And then you run to the streets, and everybody knows the streets ain't no safe place for a kid. Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
And then combine that with the guns that are running around. There's nothing worser than a heartbroken kid with a gun in his hand.
Right. It's terrifying. Yeah.
Heartbroken and a kid, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, take a gun.
Mm.
What do you see from a gun? I have the ability to instantly gain respect.
Mm-hmm.
If not, I will take your life. Yeah. Like,
yeah, man, that's a scary mix.
That boosts his ego. Ego went through the roof. Oh, what? I have a gun. What are you going to do with me now?
Right.
Well, I have the most power in the world. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm Thanos, basically. Like, what are you going to do if you go against me? You know what I'm saying? And I talked to some kids, and I'm like, what were you thinking? And you know what they say? I wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I wasn't. I just shit happened and flash, and that's it. And that's a lot of the times, your adrenaline is going. And I started my path of destruction when it came to the robberies. Like, my conviction when I finally, just stayed in the streets completely. It was just robberies. It was endless robberies.
Yeah.
If you East Side of Compton, you look at the East Side of Compton, within like a 2 weeks span, I probably robbed everything on the East Side of Compton in 2 weeks.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just on one.
Yeah.
And it was that adrenaline. It's like that first hit that you ever took. You chasing it every time after that.
Absolutely.
Everybody has a different addiction or vice. That was mine. Mm-hmm. Violence and committing a crime was my addiction. There was no other thrill in the world. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the homie's mom is over there. She might not have no money right now. Yeah, I got this gun. I got power. I could change her world. I could change her world. I'll be back in 5 seconds. Pull up over here. Let me go in here real quick. And it wasn't the jump on top of the stuff type of thing that I thought it was. No, I went in, put the gun on the counter, wanted everything in the register.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they try to play like they don't have the money. Tap the gun on the bang. These are hollow tips, right? lift up the fucking register and give me all the money underneath the register.
Mhm.
And they give me the money, and I go and I walk out. And it just kept going and it kept going. And, you know, the night that I got locked up is how rapidly I was escalating. The night that I got locked up, I was planning to rob my first bank.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a new gun, when I got some more clothes, when I looked up this, looked up the area, looked up the whole get down, you know what I'm saying? And the cop actually let me go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I was coming out of the store. I was coming out of the store and I'm walking out. He's like, "Hey, come here." Walk over. What's going on? You know, what you doing out so late? What's your name? I give him my homeboy's name. That's fucked up, huh?
Okay.
You're still my homie under
Yeah.
the bus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, he don't got warrants. He never been in jail before, so you know. I give him a name. He's like, all right, go ahead and go. So I crossed the main street, I crossed Compton Boulevard, and I'm walking, and I hear the acceleration of the car. I'm like, what is that? As soon as I'm getting ready to run, like, he drives on the curb. What the fuck you lied to me for? Throws me on the thing.
Oh shit.
Of course, I got a big ass thing of bud in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Probably go smoke some more weed and shit. It's like, all right, they take me to jail. So they're driving. They pull up to the Compton Sheriff Station, press the button, boop, the slide gate opens up. They drive in. It's about 10, 15 cops out there. And they just start clapping. Like, yeah, you know how long we've been looking for you?
Is that right?
Like,
Shit.
How'd you do it? Like, and dude was like, just caught him walking out the fucking store. Like,
Wow.
You know, they're like, what made you do all this? And I just looked at him, just put my head down, tears in my eyes, and walked in. They took my ass to Los Padrinos. And then shit, from there, I went through the system. I went through the horrible. They closed down a lot of those places, but those places still got a lot of negativity plagued over them.
Yeah.
You know, you ever driven past old mental asylum or hospital or
Oh
something?
yeah.
And it just gives you that weird ass vibe. That's what
It's eerie. Yeah.
Like, why didn't you guys just knock this shit down and build a rose garden here or somewhere? Some type of school or performing arts or something. Don't just have this stagnant, ugly ass building there that has, you know, nothing but negativity coming out of it. I end up going through the ringer because, you know, the particular neighborhood that I'm from, it was a lot of us youngsters. You know, we had older dudes and say, you know, it's a money area. I would get my ass kicked everywhere. Like, I'm not one of these dudes yet. I'm not one of these dudes who are like, oh yeah, I fought. No. I learned how to fight because I kept on fighting.
Okay.
And people break your nose and slice your eyes open and shit like that and snatch your ear off. You never have your ear hanging off the side of your head. No, you want to defend yourself. You want to keep your vital body parts intact. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, that's why I got my first dose of fighting. So I got like a real dose of intensive, like, you know, gang banging. Because on the streets, you're not around a lot of people. You're in the safety of your hood. But and there is you know, it's a pecking order and a hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was always the youngest or the littlest one, and they had us in Silmar Juvenile Hall at a high risk offender compound. So it's a prison inside of a prison. So it's an adult prison inside of a juvenile hall. Like, the gates are higher. There's 24-hour surveillance. Everybody else has windows. Ours it had tinted glass with bars going in between it. And that shit got real. You had guys in there that, you know, facing life. Everybody's being tried as an adult. You know, and I fought my fitness, and then first offense, never been in jail before. Nobody got hurt in any of the crimes. Any of these type of things. You know, even one of the witnesses came to court and was like, well, you know, you guys said he did this many crimes. He's like, you know, I can only count that he robbed me once. He didn't do all the other stuff that y'all trying to give him. You know, he said, I'm praying for that young man. And they sent me to adult court.
First offense. You're how old at this point?
I was 14.
And you're being tried as an adult.
Just turned 14. So November 15, 2004, I turned 14. January 19th, I was arrested and fought my fitness and tried as an adult.
Wow.
Sent
So
to
what'd you
adult.
end up with?
I was offered a deal of 10 years, which I immediately tried to jump on. It's like, all right, I'll go do that in YA. But then my attorney went in there, and yes, I will say it, he's a dump truck. Every law professor that I ran across, he was a dump truck. It was like, that was a horrible deal to be offered. It's like, I got my actual sentence got sent back before the courts for cruel and unusual punishment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were like,
Wow.
you got the time that they give somebody for attempted murder for robberies.
Right.
Nobody was injured, none of this, and they gave you 2 strikes.
Yeah.
So I went back in. My lawyer comes out. He's like, look, they're going to offer you this deal, and it's going to be 17 years, 2 strikes. And the DA said, if you don't take this deal, they're going to take you to trial, and he knows that you're going to lose, and you're going to get 40 to life.
40 to life.
So I'm sitting there. I'm being a kid, sitting there like 16 years old now. So I had fought this from 14 to 16. And I'm in my head, I'm like, I got to make the decision. In a world where I don't understand anything that they're saying. Understanding the language of law is like understanding fucking dolphin talk. Like listening to an orca. So you don't know what the hell it is. And then you're a kid, and you're trusting the adults because judge, lawyer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those titles. And it's not parent. And even in a courtroom, a parent knows nothing if they're not educated on the law. So everybody's in here just believing what these people are saying. So I had to make the decision on my own. And my social worker had just left me alone. They abandoned me. So I said, I'll take the 17 years, 2 strikes. I took that shit. I got sentenced. I went to YA. And, if you know the stories of YA, then you don't want to go there. I loved when they came and picked me up from prison.
Really?
Like, I loved it. I said, please get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah. That bad, huh?
I've never seen such just barbarian, just doesn't describe it. And just, you see young men who are sexually active and they can't get to a girl, and what do?
Yeah.
They'll have sex with a boy.
Mm-hmm.
You see the rapes right there in front of you.
Right.
Like, these are kids raping kids. These are big ass kids. There's weights in there. You got 16, 17, 18, all the way to 25 years old, and they're swole as hell, all the weights full of testosterone, or no output, in a full blown gangbang rage. And they're predators, and what am I going to do? I'm going to take something from this dude that he can never get back, and that's his manhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Or just to have kids' parents, the parents, or you see the parents that still gangbang and the influence they have on. I seen a kid go to a visit. He had lost a fight. So his other little homies, they call his dad, like, hey, such and such is in here. He lost a fight. He's being a little punk and all this type of shit. So the dad comes up there. He looks at his son. He grabs him by his face. He smacks him a little bit. He said, don't you fucking make my name look bad. You from the hood.
Right.
You're a warrior.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back up here until I hear about the shit that you've been doing in here. And turn around
Really?
and walk. So he left his son.
Wow.
And from that day forward, that dude turned into a straight nutcase.
Mm-hmm.
He went.
That's,
Because it's like, I want to prove to my dad. Like, I'm proving it to my dad. And just, I went through the CYI closed Paso Robles. I went to Preston. I went to YTS, and YTS is considered like the worst of the worst. You remember the first time I walked into a visiting room there, about 3 minutes passed, and I seen a chair fly in the visiting room, parents and all this shit, a chair, and a riot kicked off in the visiting room
with all the parents and grandparents and
getting maced and shit, chairs flying, dudes fighting, and all that type of stuff. Like, this is. People try to grab the kids and hide the kids and all these. A full-blown prison riot in a visiting room.
Yeah, that's crazy. No place is safe. That's
So now you see why, like, why I wanted to go to prison. I was usually, you get tired of that shit.
Yeah.
And once I did go to prison, it's the first night or the first few hours that dictates where you will be.
Okay.
So, Brian, me and Brian, that's my bro. We come from a side of things where there's not a majority now.
Right.
We come from the general population side of incarceration, to whereas you have a vast majority of people that come from the S&Y or protective custody side of incarceration.
Okay.
And they've been the guys that have been very, very boisterous about this, that, or the other, this, that, or the other. And I will be the one to say on here, a lot of the people that you see that go onto these podcasts and went into the protective custody thing and all that type of stuff, that was your choice. Nobody made you do any of the shit that you did, and nobody that told you to go tell somebody else's business because you got caught up doing some shit you weren't supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them were bribed with money. That's why they have a salary of $70,000 a year for people who become informants.
Really, $70,000?
Yeah, Google it.
Yeah.
The internet's a motherfucker. So
yeah.
you have dudes. You have dudes that are like, I can provide a form of income for my family and live comfortable, and all I have to do is go say some things.
Yeah, you're selling out your friends. You're the rat though. Like,
for what?
You protected?
You got put in a bad situation because of 9 times out of 10, it's a person who was either drunk, made a mistake.
Yeah.
It was a person who got into a dope debt.
Mm-hmm.
And they woke up and said, "Oh shit, I'm going to get in trouble." Or it was somebody not doing anything they were supposed to do. The same rules that inmates apply to each other is the same rules that CDC applies to inmates.
Yeah.
It's put on the wall. It's put on the wall. Don't gamble. Don't use drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do this. Don't do that. Be respectful to others. Be respectful to others. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Right.
It's like with every community, even in a firehouse. In a firehouse, you guys have rules of the way that you do things. This is your community.
Yep.
So within your community, you don't have firemen going to the local police station and say, "Hey, local officers, we need you guys to come in and show us how to do this." No, because you have your own, you police yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And dudes know what the hell they sign up for. They know,
for sure.
You know what you sign up for.
Mm-hmm.
And then if violence does ensue, then it's the way of the land. It fucks with you. So I continued during the time. I wasn't a person that, being that I was so structured when I went into prison, I didn't actually start like really doing violent acts until it got towards the end of it.
Okay.
Because I was so structured and I was around a lot of dudes, I was around a lot of respectful individuals, and I was always taught that, they looked at me different. They're like, "You're different." Because when it was time for shit to happen, I always raised my hand.
Okay.
They didn't have to come find me. "Oh, homie, gotta go." "Oh, okay, man. I'll do it."
Right.
And then later on, I started doing pay for play. I would go to dudes. "Oh, the homie need to go. Or this dude messed up. Look, pay me this amount of money or give me this, and I'll make sure the job gets done right."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How do you want it? You want him, you want him to yell? You want him to go through some type of pain? All right, then I'm going to go get my crew. It's about 7 of us. Who want to do it? Who want to do it? All right, he got a cell phone. Well, I'm going to take the cell phone, resell it. We sell it for $1,500. You get 5, I get 5, he get 5. We all good. So use some money while you back there in the hole, and we all straight. We got to survive in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. And I was able to learn while at the same time being in prison from 2008 all the way until 2011. I didn't have any write-ups. I went disciplinary clean for that many years.
Yeah.
And I was on the most violent yards. I was on level 4. I
Really?
go from 2008. Yeah, I didn't go from 2008 all the way to 2011 without a lick of violence.
Yeah.
I was just in there reading. I was learning. I didn't understand what a man was until I went to prison.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a black man was until I went to prison.
Mm.
I didn't know how to shave until I went to prison. I didn't know how to do my hair until I went to prison. I didn't know how to treat acne until I went to prison. I didn't know how to do
Wow.
any of this. I didn't know how to wash clothes. I didn't know how to do any of that. I didn't know the proper way to brush my hair until I went in there. I didn't know how to draw until I went in there, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to fill out a resume. I didn't know how to sign up for college. I didn't know what my social security number was. I didn't know about a birth certificate, any of that until I went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a CO or some type of staff that provided that to me. It
Right.
was men in there who wanted to see a youngster win.
Yeah. Guys that believed in you, right? Yeah.
They seen me. They seen that I struggled. They seen that I didn't have the family support. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to canteen. I'm not like these dudes that reap the benefits of having a family that supported them. No, I did everything. I would go to, so I paid my restitution off in YA.
Okay.
But then once I went to prison, I didn't know restitution, so I needed to find a way to hustle. So dudes would get at me like, hey, let me put $100 on your books and you get 25.
Right.
So that was my hustle. I would have to make what I make, ends that I made. So if somebody wants to send $200, I at least got $50 a month to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody, I couldn't afford packages, so I would have dudes order packages in my name, and I would get a portion of stuff out of there. Then I started drawing. So I started drawing. I started selling cards. Then later on, I would start tattooing. You know what I'm saying? To make money. Or I would start drawing portraits and all that type of stuff. The whole while, I didn't get a visit in prison until 2014, bro.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
from 2006 all the way to 2014, I didn't get a visit.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen my mom until I got out of prison. The last time I seen her was 2006.
Wow. So these men that are in there kind of like schooling you up and really raising you. They're raising you, right? You're a child at that point. Like
Right. And then YA kids, we have so much of a bad, rap because we're wild. We're in those nutcases. I mean, when I first got there, my first week, I was like, I need some shit, and I told my homie, like, look, man, it's a dude down the way, you know what I'm saying? He's real disrespectful toward, the black nurse lady, because, you don't disrespect women. That's, that's when you would get fucked over for that shit. And I told my homie, like, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get my knife. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna stab him a couple times so he know this shit is real. And I'm gonna take all this shit. I'm gonna go on a prison stabbing to ascertain, CDs, CD player, TV, and clothes in prison. Look how small-minded I become. So just survival, it's sharks. And just seeing that and learning how to work out and learning how to be a team player or learning how to shoot I didn't learn how to shoot the dozens or learn how to clown until I went into prison. Just being in a group of dudes and everybody's just sitting there clowning and talking shit and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to adapt or you're not going to succeed. So certain shit would happen where politics would come on and the big homies would be like, nah, you come up here with us. Watch, pay attention.
Okay.
I had one of my homies tell me, he's like, man, with the right guidance, you'd be a cold pimp. You ever want to be a pimp? Come talk to me. You know what I'm saying? He's like, come holler at me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, nah, I'm not in the pimp. You know what I'm saying? And then it was even the dudes that I would consider to be my enemies. They would come and drop jewels on me. So I'm going in from yard one day, and it was after a stabbing. It was a pretty bad stabbing in the yard. And it's crazy. I talked to Brian about this. He described, seeing his first stabbing. And he said he tried to look away.
Yeah.
But then he forced himself to look. So, on those yards, it's not a big, vast field. It's divided by a wall in the middle, and it's small. So you get to see it.
Right.
Not only do you get to see it, you get to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get to see, depending on what type of weaponry that's being used. You can hear steel breaking skin. Yeah. You can hear plastic breaking skin. You know what I'm saying? You can hear when dudes are at war with each other, and it sounds like fucking grizzlies growling, and dudes are just in battle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to the death. This isn't, that's why
Yeah.
I told you, like, I don't want to fight anymore. I don't ever want to fight because you unlock something to whereas the average fighter doesn't unlock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Somewhere in their head, they're like, all right, we can go the distance and this can end in death, but they know that there's somebody there that can stop this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you have some of those fighters that actually can, you got motherfuckers pulling them off. Those are the ones that are in there. Those are the ones that got, it's that animal in there. It's that switch that flips where you like, I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
And then you have to make a presence known. You have to make a presence known, and you got to move fast. So you're watching all this is going into a person's head because they plan this. All this shit was planned out. I'm about to go out here. I have to go do this. In some prisons you have dudes who they have to put the shank in their ass.
Yeah.
And then you go out, you shit it out, you wash it off, you get your dudes, whoever's gonna go with you, and you're gonna handle your business. And you send a message. Because if you move bullshit, you do anything wrong, it's a guy up there in the gun tower. Imagine somebody telling you, hey, look, they say, look, bro, tomorrow you're going to go out there and you're going to stab this dude. And you're going to stab him until he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about there being a gun tower up there with a Mini 14 that can blow your head off. Handle that shit and get it done. Just imagine that. Somebody tell you tomorrow go outside, your neighbor next door, I'm going to give you a knife. I want you to go to your neighbor next door and I want you to stab him to death. Okay?
Yeah. And if you don't, it's you, right?
Yeah, no exceptions. Just go ahead with that. All right?
Yeah.
So that's it.
Mm.
And then it's a difference between, certain races and cars. Like whites, Hispanics have they years upon years, they've been known for using knives. Blacks, we've been known, you got people that do that type of shit. You got quite a few people that do that shit. But we're really known for being fighters. We do a lot of hand to hand. And we've it's just, I don't know, that's just our thing. And it's just to watch a person just completely take a person's life,
mm-hmm.
or to see somebody take somebody's life with their hands.
Yeah,
it's way different on the psyche than watching a shooting from way across the street or something like that.
For sure. Yeah,
that is a very intimate experience. That is a very up close and personal stuff. You watch and you're like, damn, because you see the fight leave them.
Mm-hmm.
You see the fight leave them, or you watch that a person is actually trying to cause damage and they're only hitting him on the left side. So you watch as the blood starts to leave. You watch him start to get weak. The punches no longer, they're starting to, the arms go down to the waist until that person is lifeless. Yeah. And, the person just crawls away. They put their hands behind their back. They throw their knives towards the officers, and they just, they do what they do. They get up and they walk away, and they yellow tape the whole yard, and they come out there and they collect knives and make everybody get butt naked, squat and cough, show their buttholes, and make sure they don't have any knives. And then, they pick the dude up, put him in the ambulance, and resume. Everybody go back to normal. Let's go play basketball, and volleyball, and all this type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean that is so much for anybody to, like, the level of post-traumatic stress disorder that, like, you just being in the environment, you can't not be affected, right? Like, that's
you see so much, and it's a lot of the times the violence that happens is people try to prevent it.
Mm-hmm.
Seen a dude and him and his cellmate got into a war, just a fight to the death. He had tried to tell the cops, I can't be in here anymore. I don't want to be in here. It's not working. I need to move. And the cops, like, well, if you do this, we're going to send you to the hole. And it's like, what do you have? What do you expect a person to do when they're in a confined box with another person and they're not getting along?
Right.
So these dudes got into a fight, and it was a fight to the death. And this man actually bit this man's nose off his face.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing a dude just talking to you normal,
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man, we had a fight, it's just no nose. It's just two slits right here. No nose. Just
it's wild. Yeah.
Just violence, just going. So you see all of it You see the drug use. The drug use is the most nastiest thing that
Mhm.
it's a slow death brought on by self. You know, I've seen dudes taking basketball pump needles and
Right.
sticking it in their arms. You
Yeah.
know, basketball pump needle. You know how big that
Yeah.
is?
It's crazy.
You know, see dudes like nodding out. You know, in my generation of coming in prison, you weren't allowed to do hard drugs. But now that it's
Yeah.
changed, now that it's changed with the new generation of dudes that are coming in there, it's a new normal for dudes to do like, you know, heroin and fentanyl, flocka, spice, and methamphetamine and all this type of shit. You see dudes, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? To see
Just
dudes just
nodding out everywhere. Or, yeah, that's
yeah,
not. You would think too. That's like you said that was like a rule, right? You can't do the hard drugs because then you're not a soldier at that point. You're
you're a liability.
liability. Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
imagine a yard full of liabilities running around, and it's only 10 solid
Mm.
dudes that are like, look, I want to stay clean and I want to do this. Now you're the minority now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you're the bad guy. So anything happens, you get eliminated or you cause a problem,
Yeah.
and the police use it to their favor in there. So if I have a dude that's kicking heroin, I'm talking about
Yeah.
he may be off pitching blood, he may be off some pink amphetamine, that blue flamingo stuff, he may be off original crank, whatever these dudes Persian, they have it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And he's kicking it. He's going through it really, really bad. He's kicking it to where he's shitting on himself. He's in sweats. He's throwing up and all that
Hmm.
type of stuff. What do? We snatch him up. We take him to the hole, and we put him in a cell by himself. We don't give
Right.
him any. We don't give him any clothes. We don't give him any contact with his family or any of that type of stuff. So we're causing him to become. He's kicking. He needs that
Yeah.
fix. You
Mm.
know, that shit is dangerous. You know, you can die from not having, you know,
Yeah.
the thing. So
Fuck
we're
yeah.
gonna, we're gonna make him go into the point to where he damn near wants to die. And then we come to him, hey, how you feeling?
Right.
So I'll give you a fix if you tell me what I want to know.
Hmm.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. The addict's gonna cave, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I asked the cop one day. I said, how many people have you gotten with that one? Like, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. I bet. I mean, kicking heroin's no joke. I've been there, and that's like you do anything for it.
Right.
It's nasty, and I mean that's dangling that carrot in front of somebody and saying, you need to tell me what I need to know.
Yeah.
9.9 times out of 10, the addict's gonna say, "Fuck it, I need that shit." What do you need to know?
Exactly. You know, and we call that selling your soul for a jelly roll.
Right?
You
Yeah.
know, and so you just seeing it, and I always seen it. I always watched them. Like, I was real observant of shit, you know, and even the first time I was given up some books because one of my favorite books to read was The Art of Thinking, The Art of Reading People,
Okay.
and it would be a person who would be a crip, my rival. And we came in, and it was after that stabbing. And he was like, "Hey, youngster, here, take these books." What the fuck is this? He's like, "Take these books." And I was like, "Why are you giving me this?" He said, "I want you to learn." I was like, "All right." Then he stopped and he looked and he said, "And also, when it comes time for us to go to war, I don't want to make it easy."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's like, I want some competition out here. Let's see what you
Yeah.
need. I want to get your
Hmm.
mind right. So when we play chess, I want to get an easy checkmate.
Right.
Like
Wow.
those are mind games that you.
Yeah.
Here you go. Go ahead and take this. And then more continuing with the drugs and just again, I started to sell drugs in there, and
Mhm.
the women had an effect on me. It was the women. I remember one time I was in a visiting room and a dude that I never sold this dude drugs before, not this particular person, but for some reason his wife thought I did. And she
Okay.
was in there. She was in there with his daughter, and she walked up to me and she said, "Look at him." Fuck you mean, look at him? She said, "Look at him." He was over there in the visiting room, just like
Oh
nodding.
shit. Yeah.
like covered in sweat, nah. And she's like, he's finna leave here. He's going to another prison. And, look, Swift, I just want my daughter to see her dad one time, not high on heroin, before he has to go to another prison and she can't see him or I can't take her anymore. And what did I do? I told her a lie.
Okay.
I told her, okay, I won't give him that anymore. But I'm not going to say somebody else isn't going to do it.
Right.
And she just looked at me and, she said, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was just the women. You see the heartache that women go through, inside those. You do jail with a person. You do time with that person. You do that full extent with them while they're in there. That's just, your mother does the time with you. If your sister's in the picture, she does the time with you. Sometimes that shit is too much for people to take. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
You drive in the middle of nowhere. The officers treat you like shit. Don't be somebody who has an interracial relationship. Oh, hell no.
Oh, really? That'll come back on you?
You, African American, Black people, and some Asians are the only group of people that can date outside their race in prison. Yeah. You can't be a white with a Black girlfriend coming into the prison.
Really?
You can't be. Yeah. You can't be.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, you can't. No, none of that. You can't be a Southerner having a white girlfriend a Black girlfriend coming in there. No, she better be extremely light skinned.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, nah, it's not like that. And then Blacks, we catch a lot of flack because we accept anybody.
Yeah.
And are you white? You want to come be from a Black gang? Come on over.
Yeah.
You want to be a Asian from a Black gang? Come on over. It's just why not? Mm-hmm. Other way around? Fuck no, it's not gonna happen.
All right.
I see some Black cholos, but it's not a lot of them. So went through the prison term. End up having conspiracy, attempted murder. I had kites dropped on me. I fought a case for 3 years towards the end of my term, where a CO said that I had a great bodily injury and I attacked him, but come to find out, it never happened.
Never happened.
Never happened. I was looking at 50 to life. It never happened. I was in handcuffs and shackles. The warden came and dropped it at the level of the prison. And this is another thing that I learned. I didn't know that if the warden drops it or the prison drops it, the local county can still pick it up. So although it was dropped, the warden is in paper, is dropped, lack of evidence, this, that, and the other, this didn't happen. The DA still picked it up.
Yeah.
During COVID. So it was weird. So this dude, he's sitting at home right now. He never has to work a day in his life, and he's still getting paid off moi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the dog program, bro. That was the dog program.
Yeah.
What made my
So
time.
when does that come about for you?
That shit didn't come about to about 14 years.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about that.
The most impactful program that they have ever allowed to come in. They did not create it. It was allowed to come in. It was a man who was on his deathbed with his dogs and said, hey, I want to do something different. And I want to make a change, and I want to take a chance on people. And what separates positive change and the Marley's Much program is that they came to the worst. They went to the worst. They went to the worst fucking prison in the whole United States and the whole California, and it was like, we're gonna get these dudes dogs. Mm-hmm. And it succeeded. And it succeeded again. And it was like it was that joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not to take away from any other programs, but it's a few other programs that are out there that wouldn't even allow me and Brian into their program because they said we were too violent. We didn't have enough clean time. They based our alleged gang affiliations on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've had certain yards that wouldn't allow me on their yards based on my YA history.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're the program that takes a chance and is most effective, and it allows men to be men, because once you go into the program, the politics, you can't do nothing with the politics.
Yeah.
You still have to maintain your morale and dignity as a man. And that in
Mm-hmm.
turn shows everybody else what a man should be without having
Okay.
the imminent threat of violence being brought upon you from making a mistake or doing something that you're not supposed to do. So you allow a man to act in his natural element, the will.
Mm-hmm.
I have the will to do this. What is my will tells me that I shouldn't do this, but am I going to do this? And then it
Right.
goes to show what is your level of responsibility if you have a dog with you. It's like having a 2-year-old all the time, the brain capacity of a 2-year-old,
Right.
3-year-old. So I have to.
Yeah.
So add that an accumulation that you're in the worst prison, you're around some of the worst dudes, allegedly. You're partnered up with so if it's a white, he goes with a black,
Mm-hmm.
Asian, Hispanic. So you're not with your own. So it's a mix of cultures.
Right.
Then
On purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean, that's great, right? Like that's one of the things when I talked to Brian about this, and I thought that was amazing because it, as you just said, like it allows you that freedom to communicate, to work together, to like bond over this animal who is like wants nothing but love from you, and
right.
kind of break down those barriers that have been set in stone in front of each of you for
Right.
so long, and actually form this bond that
That's
over a dog that shows unconditional love. It's like, how do you not show that unconditional love back and forth to each other if you're paired up
right.
to love this dog, right?
Right.
I mean, that's an amazing thing.
And it was. We had hard times. Me and him had hard times. I love my brother so much. I refuse to let him fail.
Yeah.
Man, Brian, it have been times Brian ain't even want to get out of bed, and I'm crossing racial lines, gang lines, and all that. I'm in his cell.
Yeah.
I'm going to cell. James Estrada, that's another dog trainer that's out. You know, he up on the top bunk. I'm in the cell. Man, you better get your ass up out this bed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You my bro. I'm gonna come in here now. We got a dog to take care of. We ain't got time to be sitting up in there. I know you're depressed. I know you're going through this, but nah, we got this responsibility. Come on, the dog will make you feel better. You know, it have been times where he didn't been mad at me. Like, nah, I'm not trying to hear that. There's been times where it's just been pure love. That's what you do when you got a brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what separates business from family. In business, when people get mad at you, what they do? I'm gonna try to fire you. I'm gonna go to HR. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. When it's your brother, if it's the most extreme we gonna do, we might go out in the backyard, squabble up real quick. After that, slap each other on the ass and go eat some cake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the difference between brotherhood. You know, that's the difference when it's family. When you're invested and you involve your whole family with it, it's different because everybody wants to play a role.
Yeah.
To whereas business, everybody's in competition to become the leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a whole lot of Indians, you know, and everybody want to play chief. Like, nah.
Right.
And you see men who've been shut down for years open up. These dudes have never been in there for 30 years, and you give them a dog, and you see them just all that pain, that sorrow, all that violence, all that just withers away.
Yeah.
They're allowed to take care of something. Like, I gotta get up. I gotta take care of my dog. I gotta walk him. All of it. I gotta give him a bath. I gotta do this. All right, we're gonna go outside and do this. It's like watching your child grow before your very eyes, but they grow at such a fast rate that it's like it's going fast. Like, all right, this.
Mm-hmm.
And then within that program, you meet all the different cultures, and then at the very end, you learn how to let go. Everybody, you know, they go through, this, the dog program. They have these dogs. But in the end, you have to learn how to let go.
Right.
And that's hard because you're like, this is my dog. This is where I share my secrets with. This is all this. And it's like, I have to let go. So you see it in a negative aspect, like, man, I'm not going to have my best friend anymore. Or you let go and it's like, yo, I just gave a piece of me back to the world.
Right. Yeah.
Because not everybody's going to, you know, let's keep it real. Not everybody's going to get out of prison.
Right.
You know, out of that level 4 program that we were in, it's only me, Brian, and James Estrada and Armando Ortiz. Only 4 dudes have been released since 2016 when that program started.
Wow.
Everybody else is still in there. Everybody else still has life.
Shit. Yeah. So I guess sending the dog like off to be adopted out after that, like you say, it's a little part of you is going with that dog and a little, gaining that little bit of freedom.
Right.
That, it's carrying that piece that piece of you on the outside. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a lot of feelings, a lot of pride, a lot of like pride and ownership, but also a lot of like, really tough, like gut wrenching stuff like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 2 pit bulls upstairs who they're my babies.
Right.
I mean, if anything ever happened, I don't know what I would do, and letting go of them it's not easy.
And then coming from, we were, as soon as Zach Skoll came into the program, he said, from this day forward, you're not inmates. You're not identified as this. You're dog trainers and rescue.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
You know how nasty and bloody and gut wrenching rescue work is. Like that,
Yeah.
it's, and then you get a dog and you build him up and you build him up and you do this and that and that and the other, and you have to let him go.
Yeah.
You have to let him go. You have to let him go to the next stage. So each one of these dudes is making an ultimate sacrifice. You're making an ultimate, you're investing, you're doing this. Like as a child who wants to learn from a parent. Your son takes this from you, takes that from you. He takes this from his mom. You're putting all a little bit of this. Let me make this nice big gumbo of me and invest of all the positive shit that you have in life. So you take all that positivity and you put it into this dog and you let him go. Mm-hmm. Now this family has a piece of you. This family has a person. This family has a piece of a person who has a life sentence. Who would have thought this dog came from that? Now the world. It's a shocking of the conscience. Why did I judge these people for so long?
Yeah.
Why do I feel like this person needs to be on some type of slave type place digging ditches? Why doesn't this person have a second chance in life?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why did I have a predetermined belief that none of these people could ever be changed?
Right.
Then you have to identify this. Why have I spent my entire life saying I love dogs more than I love humans when it's an actual human who got this dog to the state of mind as he is right now to get him to me?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't have the dog without the human. No.
Yeah.
It takes a human to get to the dog, to get the dog to the next human, or get the dog a home, or to get the dog food, or get the dog trained, or understand behavior work. It takes a human. People forget that when they come in, I love dogs more than I love people.
Yeah.
Dogs speak their own language. You can't speak dog.
Right.
Humans speak their own language. We're made to be for one another. The dog is just a piece of pure innocence that was given to us by God so we can be able to just, get back to where we need to be.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it by choice because dogs don't have the free will.
Right.
Human beings have the free will to do anything. They do what they do according to nature.
Yeah.
So just to feel it and see it. I seen dudes go to the parole board who've been down for 30 years and they come back to the yard and they just sit down with the dog and they chill. Like this all I need in life. They know that their prison is going to be the end of them. They know they're going to die in prison. A lot of them have outlived their entire families.
Right.
What do they have to go to? You see how hard it is for me to freaking open up a damn email. Imagine a dude who's been in there for 30-some years who has a 5th grade education.
Yeah, man.
No, that's just it goes to show. But we graduated. We dudes got out of there. If it wasn't for that program, Brian would not be out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that program, he would not be out. A lot of dudes wouldn't be out. Me, once the program left, I spiraled back into, I ain't gonna lie, I had a relapse.
Okay.
I had a relapse and went back into violence because it just took something away from me. This was, and then in Rome, when in Rome, you do what the Romans do.
Sure.
So I went through that. I ended up getting out and I'm going into a halfway house. And Brian was still in. But I made sure I stayed in contact with him. I made sure I sent him, they had tablets, so I was able to send him stuff. And he would always
Okay.
ask me advice. He was like, what's the advice that I do when I get out? I said, man, hit the streets running. Don't take no break. Don't take zero breaks. You already had a break in there. Don't be stagnant and not get back to it. And then the business world hit me.
Okay.
I got out and I went to a halfway house over there in Long Beach. What's that, on 69th and something, somewhere on the north side of Long Beach. But dudes get out and they go into halfway houses, and that shit is trippy. Like, I thought a halfway house was I'm going into a house. No, it wasn't a fucking house. It was a emptied out warehouse. And inside the warehouse, they had set up cubicles. And inside these cubicles, they would have 4 bunk beds. 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 2 more right here on the floor. And you got a locker. Now, CDC releases you to these private-owned prisons or places. They release you, and I had a few months left on my sentence. So they had me on electronic monitoring. So I was on electronic monitoring. The only time you leave a halfway house is after you do a 60-day blackout period. And then once you leave from the 60-day blackout period, you have to have 60 hours or so of classes that you've done to leave. And they sign you out. Now you leave, you go to work, and you come back. And you're not allowed to drive a car or have people pick you up or take you anywhere. So you're using public transportation or a bike. Like, I was doing so bad when I got out, I couldn't even afford a bike. I had to get a hand-me-down bike. Like,
right.
Give me a bike. You know what I'm saying? My first meal when I got out, my homegirl had to buy me a meal. Like, oh, you just got out? Ain't nobody came through and, bought this or that? I'm like, nah, I'm just, I left prison with the clothes on my back, bro. Like, clothes on my back. And hopped on the bus and they brought me there. So did everything that I had to do. And shit, I hustled, man. I rode a bike from Long Beach, north side of Long Beach, to Culver City every day. That's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. Rode a bike. Wow. Rode a bike for 6 miles, 6.5 miles over these big ass hills. And if we talk about geographics, I'm riding through every single major, Crip hood. When people get out, the parole board sets you up to think, oh, when you get out and you say, you're not involved with gangs and all this type of stuff. No, you still need to realize in your head, you used to do shit to people's people.
Yeah.
Whether it be murder, whether it be robbery, whether it be a fist fight or anything like that, you used to do shit to people. And there's still young dudes out there or people out there that are like, hey, you're still from here no matter what.
Right.
No matter what, for the rest of your life, you're attached to this stuff. It's a small world, believe it or not. You're running into all type of fucking people.
Yeah, I bet.
Ride a bike through all these gangs. Get on a train, ride through South Central, Watts, LA, go all the way to downtown LA. Get off at downtown LA, transfer the train, get on another train and ride that train all the way to Culver City, get off at Culver City, and go to work every day.
Yeah.
But then do it and be on time, because if you're not on time, the ankle monitor goes off and they send you back to jail.
Shit. Yeah. So
I'm working and doing a hustle and bustle, and I ended up working at a facility in Los Angeles, and it was cool. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from one of the top trainers and all that. And she was amazing. Colleen she's a shit. I still stayed in contact. I wanted to learn from Leah Marquez. Leah Marquez is one of the people who came into. Skinny little Brazilian lady.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, man, will take the biggest, baddest dog you think you can think of and just turn it into a complete baby.
Yeah.
And just turn it like, and it's not like, oh, she's coochie cool. No, if we have to go through intensity, like for instance, we can go back to the kid thing. If your son is at this level, and you're at this level with communication, you're not going to be able to get to him.
Yeah.
But if you match his intensity, let's say he's yelling, his intensity level is here. You don't have to necessarily yell. You need to come in your presence and your approach and your delivery to him. Like, look, you don't need to yell like this because you're causing this. So how about you take a deep breath and calm down some? See the level of intensity? He might calm down. You might need to take it up a little bit higher, just to get him to understand, like, look, I'm establishing alpha. I'm just going home with this. And that's that's one of the big misperceptions about canine behavioral work. People think, oh, they see these Instagram people or they see these videos and all this type of stuff, or they see Caesar and Caesar gets a lot of slack for the things that he does, but it's a reason why he's top dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why we all learn from him, and I learned from Leah, and it's I have to be able to get you down. I have to have a level of communication. I can't go in there with a full-blown red zone pit bull and be like, I'm going to just put a leash on you and do all this type of stuff. No, we might have a little battle here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I just need to get you across this threshold to understand. Mm-hmm. And you have some critics out there. Oh my God, no, man, shut the hell up. Go sit down somewhere. All right. Or stay in your lane of the things that you do. And I learned a lot, bro. I learned a lot about being a live-in trainer. You see a lot of the things that comes with that. It's a very high maintenance, high work. It takes a lot on you to work with animals, especially a lot of animals, to caretake, to and to deal with people.
Mm-hmm.
My experience with dealing with people since I've been out of prison it has good and it has bad. Like, who would have thought I got out of prison in 2021, 2022, and I would still be called a nigger in the streets of California? Yeah. On more than one occasion. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that once I got out of prison, that I would not be able to get a job at places like Petco because they said I had too much experience.
Too much experience.
Yeah, they said I had too much experience. Oh. Who would have thought that getting out of prison, I'm more socialized and more well equipped than the average person out here in society.
Right.
Who would have thought that me getting out of prison and although they tell you that you will no longer be judged and you paid your debt to society, that people still think that you need to pay them a debt to society or a debt to them. These are the things that you've seen. I went to a workshop up in Paso Robles before, and it was good while I was at the workshop. But when I went to the local bar and local restaurant, all people were just looking at me like I was a fucking anomaly, like I was some type of like, did I have a wiener sticking out of my forehead or something?
Yeah, really.
And they stare and they look. Oh, what is that? You walk down the street and you be sitting at a stoplight. You have a group of dogs with you, and people hit their door.
Really?
I've been walking a Belgian Malinois before, and a lady stopped her car and asked me if I stole the dog.
Really?
Said the dog looked like a dog she once had.
Wow.
Like these are things that you have to go through. These are the things that and people, when I tell people, they're like, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. And I'm like, it is what it is. You shouldn't think like that. I said, if you live your entire life of going through this type of shit, you would be desensitized to it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's people, they get up here and they preach and they talk about change, but nobody's really getting out here changing. I see more people going to shelters and rescues and not to take away from the animal well-being or the animal health that we have over here in America, but I see people going over there and protesting out front by the busloads. But you don't see any of these people protesting outside of juvenile facilities, outside of courthouses where kids going to court, outside of these prisons where people are in there dying. Let's not even talk about COVID, how dudes died in there with COVID, because I was in there. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
What does that show a person or a minority about the quality of life that this society has for them, where a dog, something that people have messed up, mutated, dwarfed, amputated, all the things that humans have done to it, gets a light shine on them, but the kids who are only doing what they've been taught who are actually speaking out and saying, look, this is happening, can't get a moment to speak of their injustices or to say, hey, this is how I feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair. Yeah.
And then we can go into the business aspect of it. You know, we have all these groups and these advocacy groups that are supposed to be out here that are, you know, we help prisoners or we do this or we do that. But ask them how many people on their chair groups are actually ex-cons or ex-prisoners.
Right.
You can't have a whole group of people up here and to say, hey, we know a lot about prison, but you don't have one person in here that's actually been inside. That's like a swimmer trying to explain to a boxer the key elements of being a boxer.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work, you know. And at some point, you know, the people who have been inside or they get out, we stop trusting everybody. You know, you get burned and burned and burned and burned. I think it was, who was it? Was it 50 Cent or was it Fat Joe that was on one of these reels? And he was like, you know, the coldest people out here are the ones that sit in your face with a suit and tie on and tell you how much they want to help you and how much they're going to do this and how much they're going to do that and yada, yada, yada. And then they just, in your face, while smiling at you, close the door on you.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's the...
Sure, yeah.
When you're in a gang life, you expect it. You know, you anticipate it. You know what it is. But when you have these people who are portraying to be help or advocate or whatever it may be, and they're not doing that, you know, that causes a person to shut down. Me and Brian been going through it, brother. Like me and Brian, we've been struggling. We struggle and we get up. You know, everybody, they see the podcast, you know, they probably think he got millions, he got this going on, he got that going on. They don't see the shit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot.
It takes time and dedication. It takes time away from your family. It takes time away from your kids. And you're just trying to, I need to add this up and put this here. I'm trying my best to put this. Then I got to go and make a living. Then I got to go and do this, that, and the other. You're being pulled at all different angles. And you're just trying to just, like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
What you get to those points? Like,
right.
I just want to go to sleep. But you can't.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're in it. You're dedicated to something. You know what I'm saying? As much success that you achieve, you, just like I had to learn the hard way, success is only short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you reach a certain thing, it's going to be a problem knocking right there at the end of the door that, you know, Superman has to fix.
Right.
And then it's you're walking the thin line. Like me and him, since we've gone independent, man, we've done everything, man. We done construction jobs. We done been over there. We do training all the time still. We try to go in and talk to the kids. We put in job applications for this, that, and the other. We just stand in the hustle. You know, we adapting to everything out here. We like, all right, I gotta adapt to this while still on parole. He's still on parole, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I took a major hit with, you know, just they see the image on Instagram, but they don't know, like, bro, I just had internal affairs in my house about 2 weeks ago. They're prosecuting my parole officer for trying to send me back to jail for nothing.
Is that right? Yeah.
For nothing. I got the full recording right here, man. For nothing. You're trying to send me back to jail. I'm constantly feeling like I'm being haunted. Like I'm being hunted. They're looking for me. No matter what I think, no matter what people think in the real, oh, you're free now. Nah, man, I ain't free.
Yeah.
I'm never free. I still, as long as it's a book inside a courthouse or some type of case with my name on it or anything attached to me like that, I'm not free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's somebody that's going to be casting judgment. It's somebody that has something to say. As long as I know that his dude's still sitting inside, that haunts me.
Yeah.
You know, like who's there for them? I remember on the other podcast, they were like, I compared, I was like, would you rather go and sit down with Joe Biden for lunch, or would you go back inside? I mean, I ain't finna go sit with no Joe Biden. I might respect you and all that, you know what I'm saying? I'm a fearless leader, you know what I'm saying? But nah, bro, I'd rather go back inside and sit down and share a meal with the brothers and just, man, how you doing, man? How your mom's doing, you know? How your kids doing?
Yeah.
How's your
I mean, that's
health?
been your family, right?
That's been
Like that's been your family. You're still doing time for them too,
right.
right? Like, yeah.
And then it's on my shoulders. Like I carry it on my shoulder. Like if I don't succeed, man, I failed us all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Me and Brian don't succeed. We failed everybody. Ourselves, our mamas, our sisters, our brothers, and all that. You know, we ain't trying to get out here and build a career to where we get money so we can walk around with flashy chains on and cars. You ain't gonna look at now one of our podcasts and see us on there talking about, oh, you know, F this, F that, put a pistol out, do this. No, wait, come on, man. That's beneath me. You know what I'm saying? That's beneath us. We want to actually help people. Like how you giving me a platform to speak right now, like this, you letting a person be them.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to get on there and just bash. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that wrong. Like, nah, allow a person to speak and then ask them what do they want.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, we spoke off air about this, and like the whole point of this podcast is like, you know, to allow somebody to tell their story that might give another person some hope and feel some sort of relationship with that person, or you know what I mean, like to be able to relate their story to that person and say, you know, if that person can make it through that adversity that life's thrown their way, and go through the things that they've gone through, and has now come out the other side and is living a good life with pure intentions, then I can do it too. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing, you know, giving people a message of hope. And I mean, with your guys' podcast as well, I mean, I'm expecting that's the same sort of thing, right? Like you want to give people hope. You want to see some change. You want to start some conversation and actually work towards something positive. Brother, and that's what I think.
It's like what every person has, and I don't know what some other people think. I can only speak for me and Brian. It gives a person or an individual to the right or the ability to rewrite history.
Yes.
This is like the new world of technology gives us such the opportunity to etch stuff in stone digitally. So we make these podcasts and we put it out in 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line. You know what I'm saying? You've created a path or a direct route of legacy through change.
Mm-hmm.
Like they started from this and then they went to this. So it's like I get to see the youth grow. Like, you know, I just went to a court day. I went to the court day and I sat in there. You know, I went to, like I said, I was in the same exact courtroom that tried me as an adult.
Right.
And then 20 years later, I show up in that same exact courtroom and I'm advocating for kids to get out of jail.
Right.
You know, you get to rewrite history. And why not? Why not be able to set up everybody for success? There's many people that want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, like, all right, I know Chris, I know this person, Like, look, how about we all come together with a giant meeting of the minds, and how can we bust this?
Right.
We're able to do that now. You know, if I get a youngster that's coming out, I get a youngster that's coming out, and you know, the kids, they ask me, man, how do I get on podcasts? How do I get on the podcast? I said, when you come home, I'll put you in the right direction. I'm not going to send you over here to these dudes. I'm going to send you to this dude here.
Yeah.
Let me plant this seed. And then Chris gonna put a little water on it, and you gonna tell your story. You know, remember the old he told his story and made his story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, right.
You get to spread your wings and fly. Like it's authentic. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking nothing away from it. I'm just adding to it. You know, this is all about that big tree of life. We all connected somehow. I don't believe in coincidences or none of that type of stuff. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a meaning, and this is what it is. You know, you do right. You right your wrongs. You overcome your negativity and all that. You know, I'm big on the Australians with their walkabouts. You know what I'm saying? I had to go on a 14-year walkabout in the jungle, and when I came out, I came out a man. You know, if life was easy, it wouldn't be worth living. That's why you got so much people who just they run around and not care about life. You know, they haven't been through the struggles yet, and you got to go through the struggle. Because once you're in the struggle, you realize you can't do it alone. And it's hard when you find those good, unique people that have your back.
Yes.
We live in a clone world. Everybody wants to be like the next man or their yes man. No, you get those individual, those unique people.
Yep.
Napoleon Hill says inside his book, find your mastermind group.
Yep.
And he says, within that mastermind group, you never argue with none of those people because you don't want to upset the energy that you have because you're mastermind. And you all work to build up and you never build down. And that's all this is, bro. That's all that it is. Just
that's what it's about. I sent Brian a message 3 days ago, just talking about, how I thought that everything you guys got going on and sort of like the team that you're building there. And like, I'm just so proud to see you guys doing what you're doing and making changes. And I think both of you have voices and have like true meaning and passion behind you that I know. I wrote to him, I know you guys are going to change some lives out there 100%, and you already are. And that's what it is, though. Like you said, building that team, that like cohesive unit that works together in harmony to build up and not down, and I think that you guys are certainly onto something. And I know that the podcast is going to go over, and
one of the things I do when new people come along and they come in, we want to do this, we want to be part of the podcast and all that. I take it back to how I was brought up.
Yeah.
We don't have no time to be playing with people. We don't have no time to be dealing with people and their mischief or their misconception of this, or the people that want to ride the gravy train to success on everybody else's back and all that type of stuff. I give people one chance and one chance only. So when they come and they say, hey, look, I want to be part of this process, I'm like, do you believe in the dream, first off? And then I asked them, are you really down for this the way you say you're down? Before we even get to the paperwork and you sign off as a team member, no, are you down the way you saying you're down? Because this shit can get ugly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes we're gonna lose. Sometimes we're gonna lose more money than we bring in more money. So are you really about this? And then they say, yeah. I shake their hand. I say, all right, word is bond. You know what I'm saying? Because I come from a lifestyle that a man without his word is nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I hit them with those old school, realness and old school tactics, and the hope that, that all it should take with a man is you give him your word before I got to contractually bound your ass to something. That means you're bound, you're tied to this. Nah, look, go sit down somewhere, think about it. Let me know if you're really with it or not. And then we'll go from there, and, sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't, but this is life, Yes, sir.
I think in the long run, it all works out, right? Like the right people, I really feel like if you're doing the right things, the right people fall into place.
Facts.
And there's going to be speed bumps. There's going to be, I run into them all the time. I don't make any money off of this podcast, and I put out a lot of money to have it produced and have it edited and all that stuff, because I can't do that stuff on my own. I don't know. I'm an old guy. I don't know, but so I'm still putting out, and yeah, it's hard. I mean, sometimes it's a financial bleed, but I believe in it, and I believe that even if it doesn't continue, this stuff will be out there on the internet always, and it can be accessed by anybody at any time to grab that little piece of hope that I talked about, and to know that the possibility of being a part of changing somebody's life is out there. That's what makes me, that gets me up in the morning, right?
It's the unknown. Like, what I'm saying? Just you walk past somebody down the street and they see you, and they're like, man, they see you. You don't recognize them because you've never seen them before, but they see you, and like, man, that's the people's right there. They help me through this. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. It could be freaking 100 years down the line, man. They still playing your shit like it's the Wizard of Oz on repeat just to help people.
That's what it's about, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, helping others. I mean, there's no better feeling. Listen. I was a drug addict for 17 years. Like, tried everything on the face of the planet. Nothing has ever made me feel as good. Like, there's no substance that makes me feel as good as helping another person. that's it for me.
That's
you know?
That's that soul thing. And I'll say this. I know we finna wind it up. I'll say this to everybody in the world. You can't deal with living and breathing things with a mindset of concrete and steel. You'll fail. It'll be an epic failure. It'll blow up in your face. It'll blow up on everybody else. You can't be in a business where you deal with living and breathing things and think without a soul. It's going to go against you. It's against mankind.
Yeah.
It goes against the laws of nature in its totality. We have to take the time to make the time to care for each other, because it's going to get to a day where you're going to need somebody to care for you. It's going to get to a day where you're going to need your kids to come in and take care of you. You're going to need nurses. You're going to need hospitals. You're going to need doctors. You're going to need that person that you've been neglecting because you feel some type of way or you have some type of resentment towards them. If a mother can go inside of a courtroom and forgive a murderer of her child, who the fuck are you not to forgive your brother for the simplest thing? Then that's it. That's how I end it.
Well, thank you, man. I that's beautiful. That's amazing. I couldn't agree with that more. It's a great way to end the podcast. And before we go, though, I want to give you a chance to let everybody know where they can find you online, where they can check the podcast out, and I'll link all the links in the show notes so anyone can easily access it. But
all right. If you want to find me and my brother's podcast, it's called Strangers Fruit Podcast. It's a production by Herd Studios. You can go on to YouTube, Herd Studios. I have not put any videos up because we're still in the production process, but I'll put some clips up. You can go on to Instagram at Herd Studio at IG. You can go to Strangers Fruit Podcast on IG. My personal IG is Mr. Swift, MR.SWYFT, and I do all the dog trainings and shit talkings you could think of, but at the same time, it's my personal page. So you get to see a person in a day in the life. It's not something that's squeaky clean. You get to see my struggles. You get to see the building and the whole process of how this thing goes on. And next we might have Chris on our podcast, so we get to interview him.
I'd love that, man.
We gotta do. You might see a tattoo session because you got the owner of the tattoo shop over there. I need some ink, my man. You know what I'm saying? So let's put it together. Everybody stay safe, and be expecting a whole lot of good to come out of this because it's on the up and up. You dig? You know what I'm saying? Peace.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.